Story 1. My life is pretty bad. She is doing well, happily married and has a child. So I am happy for her. The best thing I ever did for her was letting her go when I messed things up. I still love her, even though I have not had any contact for years. We were together for a long time, and I wish her happiness. Story 2. We broke up due to circumstances in our lives, even though we still deeply loved each other. I fell into depression for a few years after that, and I never fully recovered. That was 10 years ago. I was in my early to mid-20s when we broke up. I have dated a fair amount since then, but I have never found that kind of connection again. Story 3. My life is pretty terrible. Every former partner I have ever had was right to leave me. Story 4. Just reading these comments makes me more motivated to keep my sweetheart with me and treat her right. I love her more every day. Story 5. I wonder how many exes are reading these comments and thinking whether the person who hurt them now regrets it or misses them. I am very happy, and I am glad my ex ended the relationship because I am much better off without him. Still, I sometimes wonder whether he ever regrets the way he treated me. I do not want him to be miserable, but it would be nice to hear that he wishes he had been better to me. Story 6. I was too young to know how good I had it, so we broke up and I moved across the world to stretch my legs. For lonely years helped me realize the world was kind of overrated without the right person to share it with. I moved back, we reconnected, and now there are 3 of us. I have never been happier. The third person in this scenario is my daughter. We got married and had a child. Why do people read this and think we are polyamorous? Story 7. Hello. I am actually doing really well now. I have learned a lot from that experience and have grown as a person. Thank you for asking. Story 8. She was the love of my life, and I still remember the day we met 13 years ago. Unfortunately, after 5 years together, I could not make it work and I made mistakes I could not forgive myself for, so we broke up. My life is different now. I used to think there would be other women like her, but I have realized there will not be. I threw myself into my career, moved away for a better job, and now travel the world. I have been to over 10 countries, make good money, own a rental property in our hometown, and life has been good on the surface. However, I would trade it all for a chance to go back in time, see her again, and have another chance. I ruined the chance of even being on speaking terms after losing my mind when we broke up. I realized what I had done, but it was too late and she wanted nothing to do with me. She will always have a piece of my heart. I think about her on lonely nights when I am traveling, alone in my hotel, and I still cry sometimes. Story 9. My husband and I separated a little over 2 years ago because of his alcoholism. He eventually went to rehab, completed a dialectical behavior therapy program, and stayed sober while consistently attending individual therapy and self-management and recovery training meetings for over a year. He took responsibility for his choices and then respectfully and slowly courted me again, complimenting me and bringing me flowers when he picked up or dropped off the kids, and cleaning the kitchen when I finally invited him to stay for dinner. The rest was history, and we moved back in together in late October. I certainly can't say every relationship is reparable or that every woman is willing to forgive. Sometimes it is just too late. But very often all it takes is caring enough to put in the work to be better. Story 10. Every breakup has felt devastating to me. It is always a struggle until time smooths the pain. Eventually they become fond memories. Even bad relationships I remember with rose-tinted glasses. If you cannot get over your ex, the next person will not be a one-to-one replacement. They will be their own person, and you will soon see they bring things to the relationship your ex did not. You will value and cherish those qualities. Story 11. We broke up when I was 19. She was a great person and became an even better woman. I was hanging out with so-called friends who were terrible. We crossed paths again when I was 32, spent time together, and recently became engaged. We are getting married in October. I appreciate her every day. Story 12. I messed things up at 18 with a girl I would have been happy to marry. It took me almost a decade to get over her, but during that time I became the person I wished I could have been for her. I finally started dating again about 2 years ago. I am truly ready to find my forever and would not have it any other way. I know how to act now. Story 13. While I was in college, I met an absolutely fantastic, interesting, intelligent, talented woman through a mutual friend. She was very attractive, genuinely interested in me, and great in bed. We hit it off and I felt like the king of the world. Over the next 18 months, I slowly ruined the relationship through my inability to be vulnerable. I thought I understood how to be a partner intellectually, but emotionally I was naive and clueless. She eventually told me she loved me, and I was too cowardly to say it back. She came to assume I was cheating on her. I was not. I was just a coward. It ended acrimoniously. I realized afterward that it was completely my fault. I was fortunate to meet someone else also amazing about a year later. We dated, moved in together, got engaged, married, and have a truly fantastic marriage. I am very happy every day. We recently celebrated 11 years of marriage. She is my best friend and I am incredibly attracted to her. I still feel really bad that I was such a terrible boyfriend to the other woman. I did not make the same mistakes twice. Story 14. It is better. I was in a bad place and tried to end my life. I prepared for suicide by pushing my wife away and asking for a divorce so she would hurt less when I was gone. That is ridiculous. And she is both smart and kind enough to see through my nonsense. I did try to end myself but failed. And it hurt her in a way I can never take back or fix. She loves me and I love her. We are still together because the relationship was never the issue. I love her so much. She is an amazing person and I am so proud of her. But now she is jumpy and may call the police or emergency services if I do not answer my phone. She becomes very worried and upset if I take naps during the day because she thinks I am suicidal or depressed again. It feels a bit like post-traumatic stress disorder, I think. I wish I could repair what I have broken, but I cannot. I am so ashamed and feel guilty every day. It is difficult not to wallow in misery, and I do my best to show her the love and warmth she deserves. Story 15. We had a mutual split. Imisha. I never felt that kind of love before. Circumstances prevented us from staying together. I chose to stay in a toxic household with my ex. It is what it is. Story 16. I hope it doesn't take another 30 years to find someone I like as much as I like her. Story 17. Things are pretty great. I learned from my mistakes. It took several more attempts to find the right person. Don't protect your ego when you mess up. Feel things and learn. Story 18. I messed up and she did too. We both said and did some unkind things to each other. We went our separate ways and dated other people for a few years. We found each other again, apologized, talked things through, and now we have been together 3 years. I plan to propose soon. Story 19. I'd say I hit rock bottom. However, it would have derailed eventually even if everything had gone perfectly. Our long-term goals divide us significantly. At first, there was still a chance they might be willing to try again with me, and that gave me some hope. As time passed, I realized it was never meant to work. We just want different things in the end. My life is in bad shape not solely because of that relationship ending. Rather, a long series of poor decisions and poor financial choices have left me in a state I may not recover from. They are doing well and have a robust support system I never had. They are a great person, and I wish them the best. Story 20. I lost a masterpiece and kept the frame. I wake up each day surrounded by reminders of colors I could not maintain, wishing I could paint over the smudges and learn the medium of patience. Life is now one long study in longing. Nothing matches the beauty of what was once vibrant. Story 21. Things are not great, including my failing health. I lost 2 years of pre-romance friendship and long-distance communication, 5 years of relationship and living together, and nearly all of my university memories. After that, I spent another 7 years unable to move on and lost many firsts. In person, I have never seen anyone remotely similar to her in looks, gait, fashion, or personality. My mind recalls how she moved and smelled, the exact inflections of her laugh, and how her drool pooled on the pillow. To be honest, I still dream about her every night, almost like a torturous penance I cannot be free of. Only recently have I started to feel better after meeting another unique, different woman, and I have approached things in a less reserved way. I made many small, compounding mistakes, But the real problem was what I did not do or say. She had her own issues that fed into mine, but instead of taking the lead and improving things between us, I let them fester into a comfortable relationship, which can ruin almost any partnership. Ideas and advice influenced by modern dating and sexual norms affected both of us, and that was the worst thing I could have allowed. Younger men, if you have someone truly great, someone you are bonded with and who is good for you and your future, ignore other people's opinions. Treat them well and do not shy away from your honest feelings. Life is a series of regrets, and you do not want this one. Story 22. I'm still dealing with guilt and regret nearly 6 months later. Much of it comes from not ending the relationship sooner, before deep resentment took hold. If we had, we might have salvaged a friendship. Story 23. I am not the person you were asking for, but Jimmy on Relationships on YouTube is a therapist who talks about how he ruined his previous marriage. Anyone could become a better person by watching that channel. Story 24. We are together now. It only took 9 years and a failed marriage for me to work up the courage to tell her how I really felt. 6 years with my ex and 3 years of rebuilding myself emotionally and financially. It did not take me nearly that long to start second-guessing myself. Story 25. I'm doing well, but it took a lot of time. Both of us are happily married to other people now. I feel very fortunate to have bounced back and to see her do the same. She will always have a part of my heart, but sometimes love is wanting someone to be happy with someone else rather than with you. Story 26. Awesome. I had 3 serious relationships. The first was in high school. She was beautiful and I was young and dumb, so I messed up, thinking I could do better. 4 years down the drain. Later in life, I met another wonderful woman. I had grown older but not wiser, so once again I made a big mistake. 5 years down the drain. After that, I met the most amazing woman I have ever known. This time I put a ring on her, became a father, and we have been together for almost 20 years. Story 27. It has been low and dull ever since. I could not have given her the life she deserved anyway. Story 28. It was 30 years ago, and I do not act like that anymore. You might think memories fade over time and that later in life they become foggy. They do not. It is always as if it happened yesterday. There is no sense of distance. It remains with you. Story 29. Honestly, it's really fucking hard. I wish every single day that I had not broken up with her. So many things remind me of her, and there is still a glimmer of hope that we will be together. I just have no idea how to approach her and tell her I still love her without reopening old emotional wounds. I have dated since, and it just does not feel right. Story 30. I broke up with my ex a year and a half ago. She was genuinely kind, loving, and warm. I saw a future with her. The most significant issue was that her mother was a narcissist and she could not break free from her. I often wonder if she would have been more capable of dealing with her mother if I had been a better supporter, but I was concerned she would become reliant on me rather than develop strength on her own. She moved away immediately after I broke it off and blocked me when I tried to patch things up, which I think was for the best. She now lives hours away from her mother, and I hope it has given her the chance to escape her shadow. I think of her regularly with sorrow. Story 31. The comments are validating the fantasies of many people. Laughing out loud. Story 32. He was my ex-boyfriend. He was one of the best people I have ever known and the love of my life. I will never love another person the way I loved him. Sounds dramatic, but it is true. Unfortunately, I was in a dark place and did not know how to cope, and I ended up doing terrible things that led to our breakup. I betrayed him, and I take full responsibility. It was my fault, absolutely. I will never forgive myself. I have tried to be in relationships since then. I am in one now, but I have never again felt the deep love and bliss I felt then, and I doubt I ever will. It all feels so different now at the surface. I love the person I am with now, but it is different. It feels almost as if a part of me is gone. I cannot feel anything with the same depth I did before. If you were out there, my little prince, I am so sorry. I love you always. Story 33. I lucked out and found someone just as amazing, if not more. I learned my lesson last time and made sure I do not make the same mistakes again. and I guess it worked out. Story 34. She significantly improved my life thanks to the wisdom she passed on to me throughout our relationship, which I applied afterward. I often think of her and am happy to know she is doing well in life. Story 35. Chances are most of them never even realized they had lost something great. They were just too damn self-centered. And yes, I am speaking from experience. Story 36. Not bad, to be honest. I identified what I was doing wrong and fixed it. My current girlfriend looks at me like I am the best man in the world. What really bothers me is not being able to make it up to the one who truly deserved it, the person who stayed with me during my worst times but now only has hatred in her heart for me. Sometimes when I am with my current girlfriend, I cannot help but think my former partner would have enjoyed this so much, and I have teared up a few times. It is painful, but I guess that is life. Story 37. I cheated on her. Now I am lonely, and I feel I deserve it. Story 38. I feel uniquely qualified to answer this. I am not a man, though. Summary for anyone going through profound romantic loss. 1. Do not pine and try not to wait around for closure. Sometimes you must create closure yourself. Do not resort to hating them, and do not expect a grand epiphany to make the loss okay. It will hurt for a long time, possibly forever, and in the meantime you need to keep living, growing, and hopefully thriving. 2. Know that nothing is ever truly over. Both of you will probably love again, possibly in a way that is better than your idealization of the previous relationship. 3. If one or both of you finds happiness with someone else, be happy for them and for yourself. You love them. Love should not be conditioned on whether they spend time with you, have sex with you, or talk to you. Just knowing they are out there, hopefully happy, should be enough if you love them, even if it hurts that you cannot be that person for them or partake in their happiness. A series of horrible, unavoidable life circumstances stressed both of us and our relationship beyond belief. We coped as best we could, but in the end we could not make it work. Sometimes circumstances matter as much as attraction and love. I have spent years dating but have always disliked dating and often had a hard time falling in love. Sex can be easier and hormones can temporarily fill a void. To be honest, that is why many people have sex with strangers. Looking for a partner, no one has come along so far 8 years later. As cliched as it is to say, learn from your mistakes and know that it is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Giving yourself fully, mind, body, and soul, is a rare experience that many people never fully experience. To the original poster, maybe you have not experienced that depth and are feeling raw after a normal but dramatic relationship. Most relationships do not need to be fully consuming. Successful couples tend to like certain things about their partner and avoid things they dislike. The same is true for friendships. No one person can be your everything, and it is probably not healthy to expect that. I eventually came to terms with the situation when my ex married someone else and I let go of the life I had imagined for us. A large part of mourning is grieving the future we imagined. It is important to realize that that future was never real and will not be real, and to let go after recognizing it was always an idea or a fantasy. Remember what went right and what went wrong. Do not exaggerate blame. Relationship failures are never one-sided. Take those lessons into your next relationship. Do not hate them or yourself. Try to be clear-eyed, even when it hurts. A final, important note. Remember what you loved about them and how they changed you as a person, hopefully for the better. My ex inspired me in many ways to be a better person, and some of those changes took years to process and embody. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. Every person we encounter affects who we are and who we become. Let into your life those you respect, admire, and want to be like, and distance yourself from those who are not constructive. Do not let loss make you bitter, small, or angry. Remember the generosity and trust it takes to love someone. Lean into that and keep it as a direction for growth. It may take years or you may never fully embody it, but that is the best way to move forward rather than drifting in reminiscence of a past or visions of a future that never were. I hope this helps at least one person. These are hard-won, hard-fought lessons. Without minimizing the difficulty of loss, they are worth learning and embodying over a lifetime. Story 39. I lost the love of my life when I was 22 by being a stupid young kid and making almost every mistake a man can make in a relationship, except stealing money, getting the other person hooked on drugs, or getting them pregnant. Unfortunately, I learned my lesson late, and now at 31 I have not had a relationship that lasted more than 2 months. Losing that person ruined who I was before. I do not keep up with them, and I have not checked on them since. I know they are likely in a better place than I am. Every day my mind returns to it, consciously or not, although it does not drag me down as much anymore. Story 40. There are no words to describe what I would do to go back in time and fix it, but you learn to live with the reality. Story 41. She had an amazing New Year's party in her new multimillion-dollar house. I was alone in a crappy rental. Yes, I fucked up. Story 42. I broke up with an incredibly sweet and caring woman who loved me. While I do not necessarily want her back, I still feel like an absolute piece of shit, and like I do not deserve another chance with someone else. She loved me and actually cared, but I thought I wanted more and that I could find something better. I was not as physically attracted to her as I wanted to be, and I threw it away. I feel like this is why so many women have a low opinion of men and do not trust them. All in all, I am doing all right. Things could be worse. Story 43. I have not had another long-term relationship since then. There is nobody like her. Aside from that, my life is not bad at all. I have a good job and amazing friends. The only thing is that love does not seem to be in the cards for me. Story 44. I am at the lowest point of my life. The past few years have been hard. My physical health keeps declining, and all I do now is sit and think about everything I have done wrong. I was deeply depressed for many reasons, and she was there for me so much. I took it all for granted. To make a long story short, I broke my foot and was stuck in my third-floor walk-up apartment for months. I had to drop out of school and felt like my life was over. She took care of me through it all, even moved in while she was still in school, and helped me so much. Without her, I would have almost certainly given up on life entirely. The past 2 years I had a massive brain fog because I was not mentally present. It made me a horrible person and partner. I tried so hard to be a good boyfriend, but I just was not. I could only manage to be good about 10% of the time. I truly loved her, but I knew I could not be a good partner and was too scared to end things even though I wanted to. I think I actively sabotaged things, trying to push myself over the edge. I cut all ties. I was going through the worst of it and felt justified in being angry at the world, but that does not excuse how I acted or how I brought her down. She was the first person I loved and the first person who ever loved me. It was also the first serious relationship I had been in, and there were many relationship skills I never learned. I was not used to being treated with love, and it made me colder than I wanted to be. I was very selfish. I kept apologizing but did not change enough, so the apologies were not enough. It has been a long year. I miss her voice and her accent. I still wake up crying from dreams where I am talking to her. Had I done things differently, I probably could have salvaged a friendship where we still check in every so often. Right now, it is almost impossible to move on. I cannot go out and meet other people, and even if I could, I am too ashamed of myself to start a relationship. I worry about hurting more people. Story 45. Every time I look back years later, it has turned out to be a good thing. Story 46. I think about her all the time after 42 years, even in my dreams. Story 47. I grew up in a household where my stepfather abused us and turned my mother into an alcoholic. I did not know how to be in a healthy relationship because I did not see one growing up. My former partner was an incredible woman, and I ruined that relationship. By the time I started getting help and therapy, it was too late. I met my current fiancée and treated her the way I should have treated my former partner all along. When she found me, I was broken and going into debt. Now we are slowly planning our wedding, and I am trying to be the first in my family to go to college. I got lucky, but it has been a lot of work, and I am working on improving myself every day. Story 48. I think about her every day. It has been well over 10 years, and I wish I could somehow meet up with her. I have no contact information, and it kills me. Story 49. I messed things up with a girlfriend years ago. We eventually reconciled and got married. However, She has not been the same since. And I miss the girl she was before I made her bitter and jaded. That was 15 years ago. Story 50. She took me back. 9 years later, it is hard sometimes, but I would not want anyone else to go through it with me. I made a big mistake. I broke up with her and went back to my ex. Now I look at her and our children before bedtime. Story 51. We broke up for about a year, then got back together at the wedding of our closest couple friends, where she was a bridesmaid and I was the best man. Earlier in the breakup, I had tried to win her back with text messages and AOL Instant Messenger. But by then I thought it was a waste of time. Since that wedding, it has been about 15 years. We bought a house, got married, drove each other crazy, and it has been really great. Story 52. It's odd how you can see parts of people in other people. I wouldn't say my life is better or worse. It's like something is missing. You get that feeling when you don't know where your wallet is, a little panic, like you're looking for a hand to lead you somewhere and it's not there. The feeling can come out of nowhere when you're drinking coffee with someone. Eye contact is different now because I'm trying not to notice the little things. Story 53. I was good friends with her for years. We grew up together. She was beginning a promising career as a singer and musician and was extraordinarily talented. I found her very attractive and I believed she was in love with me, or at least cared very deeply for me. For some reason, I avoided starting a relationship with her. Perhaps I felt I would not measure up to the person she thought I was, or that there was an imbalance in how deeply we felt for one another. It was probably a little of both. Then she was suddenly gone, killed in a car accident. For years I thought about what might have been. Maybe if she had been with me, she might be alive today. I would often have dreams about her and wake up with my stomach in knots because the dreams felt so real. The aching feelings of emptiness and loss stayed with me for a long time. She died more than 20 years ago. Today, I am happily married with 2 children of my own and 2 foster children. I have a good job and a loving family that I cherish. I am grateful for how my life has turned out, but sometimes late at night, like tonight, I think about her and what might have been, with pangs of regret. Story 54. I am glad she is happy. Her life is great, and my life is great. I was unkind to her, and I regret my actions. Seeing her happy helps ease the pain I feel because of my behavior. Story 55. Hello. Life has been a roller coaster since then. I am trying to learn from my mistakes and be a better person. How about you? Story 56. My life has been fine. It could be better, but I am doing okay. She was never my girlfriend, although she wanted to be. She is extremely smart, beautiful, and in amazing shape. I was afraid to date her or tell her how I felt. She knew I cared for her and liked her deeply. We would hang out, go on dates, cuddle, and kiss. I truly enjoyed my time with her, but I was afraid I was not good enough for her and did not want to hold her back. She accepted a job in the next state, and she is doing exceptionally well. She loves her job and seems happy. I am happiest whenever I see her post one of her achievements on Instagram and see her bright smile. Fellas, when you have an amazing girl that you care about, let her know. Do not be afraid. Take a deep breath, swallow your pride, and speak to her. Story 57. I became very insecure and worried I was not good enough for her. I did not tell her when I was jealous or insecure. I just became grumpy, distant, or passive-aggressive. I was working on it. But if you constantly think you are not good enough for someone, they will eventually believe you or grow tired of your reactions, which come from fear of losing or upsetting them rather than from being true to yourself. She hates me now because I did not move on and made things awkward with our mutual friends. Fuck. Story 58. My partner of 3 years left me in November. She gave no explanation. She just wasn't happy anymore. I still think about her every day, but it gets a bit easier. If it's meant to be, it will be. Love always prevails. Story 59. This is about my ex. He told me he messed up by treating me the way he did. We were together for almost 6 years and had recently become engaged. He treated me horribly and constantly put his friends above me. When I got upset, he punished me by staying out all night drinking and partying. One night I got tired of it, packed up my things, and drove an hour to my mom's house at 1 in the morning. A few months later, I started dating someone else and became pregnant. When my ex found out, he lost his temper. He reached out a few months before I had my daughter to tell me how much he had messed up and that he did not know what he had until it was gone. Apparently, he went on a drinking and cocaine spiral after he found out I was pregnant. He is now 30, living with his grandmother in a trailer park, and has an eviction on his record because he thought going on vacation and attending raves was more important than paying his bills. I think his truck has been repossessed. I was the one he blamed for his poor financial decisions the entire time we were together. Story 60. We were together for 7 years, married for 1, then separated and divorced. Sometime between separating and divorcing, she met someone through work and had a baby within a few years, possibly sooner. The thing that stung was that she named her child a name we had been discussing as a potential name if or when we wanted to start a family. By the end of our relationship, we had reached a point of complacency, and I felt like I was just coasting. There were issues stemming from my naivety about relationships, mainly not being attentive enough and not focusing on small details. I realized I was not being a good partner. Some friends told me I was being too hard on myself and had shouldered more of the blame than I deserved. They reminded me that we both made mistakes. As someone who tends to be very self-critical, it was hard to let go of that, but I tried to push those thoughts aside to get through each day. Since then, I have struggled with major depression, but I have also made progress in my personal growth. I threw myself back into dating and learned more about myself and relationships than I had during the 7 years of my relationship. Although many early experiences were driven by sex, it was nice to feel wanted again. I began my bachelor's degree within 6 months of separating. I focused on myself and my goals, after spending so much of the relationship thinking about us rather than me. It was what I needed for personal growth. I met someone not long after finishing my bachelor's degree who had a similar experience, and we have been dating for 3 years. In July 2023, I moved to Japan to teach English for a year and returned home in July 2024. I began a master's in teaching program in January 2024, which I will complete later this year. There have been many professional and personal changes. I see too many people get knocked down and never get up again. All I can say is work on yourself, put yourself in a position that makes you feel good and sets you up for success, and everything else will follow. I still have more goals, such as saving up for a house after graduation. That will take time but will keep my momentum and allow me to work toward other goals, including developing and publishing some of my book ideas. I just have to keep moving and improving. Story 61. I have had 2 girlfriends who were both amazing in their own ways and whom I did not fully appreciate at the time. I do not know if I would say my life is worse off without them. We were incompatible in different ways, but they broke up with me for problems that I needed to fix, either because of my lack of self-esteem, social awkwardness, and 17-year-old asshole behavior, or because I was incredibly depressed and suffered from a chronic cannabis addiction. It was not easy. After a suicide attempt at 25, not long after my last ex broke up with me. She does not know, and it was not her fault. I told myself I would not kill myself until I was 30. I am happy to say that now I am in my 30s and life is pretty good. My exes leaving me was unbelievably painful at the time, but they left me for good reasons, and in retrospect I am glad they did because it gave me the opportunity to self-reflect and become a better person. I am now able to look back on these relationships with some regret about not being a better partner, but also with the wherewithal to wish them well and move on in life, even if it took a long time to get there. Is my life perfect? No. There are still many things I struggle to change. I will be 2 years sober in February. I am on the lowest strength depression medication in over 10 years. I have a stable job and good friends. I have moved out of my parents' house, and I am more emotionally stable than I have been since I was a preteen. I am better equipped than I have ever been to make positive changes in life, and I know I am in a place where I can bring something to a relationship rather than just looking for someone to love me. Story 62. I really respect her because she has shown that she is smart enough to want nothing to do with someone like me. Story 63. This thread is a good example of the existential deprivation that men carry inside them. The woman you loved and messed things up with is a direct reflection of the qualities you seek within yourself. You tried to obtain those qualities through someone else. If, after years, your gut still wrenches when you look back at her, You are not meeting your own needs and desires, or you are not moving through the pain of that time. If you do not attend to that emptiness and wounding, you will go through life with that mangled pain unresolved. 2 words. Fuck that. Story 64. In short, right girl, wrong time, but I'm optimistic there will be another someday and I'll be a better man for it. My ex-wife is a great woman, but I think we married too young and were not experienced or mature enough to navigate the pitfalls of life. Stress and poor word choices, coupled with both of our egos, resulted in me being an observer in my children's lives half the time and a single dad managing my career and the kids entirely alone the other half. It also hurts because she is such a better parent and I feel like my kids get a worse experience in life with me. If she is the Marriott of parents, I feel like Motel 8. It's been 4 years. The first year I basically wanted to kill myself every day, wondering why I couldn't have been better, why I wasn't enough. These days I've found myself growing in ways I wish I had before meeting her. I can appreciate what we had, but all you can really do is get up every day and keep moving forward. Keep fighting not for the world you have, but for the world you want. My kids have 2 financially stable parents who don't hate each other and who work through co-parenting amicably. Life could be worse. Story 65. I am a recovering alcoholic living as a house manager in a sober living home. I will start culinary school in 2 weeks. I am not happy, but I have been sober for 5 months. I look healthy and have the best friends I could never have imagined. I am still connected with her, but I do not think I will have that again. That is life on life's terms. Story 66. We didn't see each other for a little over a decade, and I could never get her out of my mind. I was always unconsciously searching for someone just like her. I had some good relationships during that time, but the right feeling was never there. After a decade of not seeing or speaking to each other, I one day received a text out of the blue saying, "Hey you." When I saw the profile picture, my heart dropped. It was her. It turned out she had felt the same way about me all those years, but could not summon the courage to approach me. Fast forward to the present day. We have been married for 10 years and have 2 wonderful children. I honestly can't imagine spending my life with anyone else. I guess the whole love of your life thing does turn out to be real sometimes. Story 67. The sad thing about human nature is you will not appreciate it until you lose it. Story 68. I had several wonderful women who would do anything for me. However, it was during active addiction and I did not want help. I entered rehab about 6 months ago, and I did not realize how great these women were. I seemed to keep relapsing and drowning in regret over everyone I have hurt. The bottom line is, if you have someone who would do anything for you, people like that are irreplaceable, so reciprocate the same energy. Story 69. I blew it so badly. She's very successful and happy now. I have a rare neurological disorder and cannot work as much, so I'm pretty miserable. I don't really date anymore. I have tried, but it doesn't work out well. Nothing positive happened afterward, other than learning valuable life lessons the hard way. The worst part is that we are still close, but not in that way. She probably feels sorry for me. Story 70. It has been about 6 months now, and it is the worst experience I have ever had. It was not entirely my fault. She made mistakes too, and I did not learn from mine. She is now dating her best friend, and I am blocked from her life. I am currently in therapy after I attempted suicide a few months ago. I am sorry you are going through this. If you are in immediate danger, call emergency services now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 for 24-hour crisis support. If you are in the United Kingdom, call Samaritans at 116 123. If you are in Australia, call Lifeline at 13 11 14. If you are elsewhere, contact your local emergency number or a local crisis line, or tell someone you trust. Please continue working with your therapist. If you want, I can help rephrase this further. Story 71. We both messed it up due to immaturity, and I ended the relationship because I couldn't stand the vibe we had developed. There was too much arguing, and I could feel contempt developing between us. It ended in 2017 and lasted about 2.5 years. I've been dating ever since, but I haven't met anyone who matched what she and I had. If I had been more emotionally regulated, the relationship would have been different, and the same was true for her. Regardless, life is good. I'm wiser, I have more money, and I am more focused on what is important to me. I'm moving forward, and I know I'll meet someone eventually. Hopefully I will. Story 72. My dad lost my mom. He joined a religious cult and demanded that she quit her job and sign over all her present and future property to him. She said no. What she had inherited from her grandmother wasn't hers to give away to a shady organization. He then moved out, taking everything in the apartment that was even halfway valuable. She was able to get on her own 2 feet, thanks to her mother, and was doing well a few months later when he called. He said that if she took him back, she would be the happiest mother and wife ever. She said no. He made a Pikachu face and told her she would burn in hell if he had anything to say about it. Now he has a second wife, but he just seems angry at everyone and everything. Story 73. I miss her a lot. I cannot talk about it with anyone because most people are judgmental, even if you were with the person for more than 10 years. We were both neurodivergent. I am autistic. We understood each other and got along great. I had something that was 1 in a million, and I doubt I will ever find that again. People often say just learn to be happy by yourself, but it feels like they have never had to be alone for long periods against their will. They have never been betrayed in a way that fundamentally damaged their ability to trust others. They do not have abusive childhoods or similar baggage weighing them down and compounding everything. Most of the time I am sad. Antidepressants are the only thing that keep me functional and stable, but they can only take you so far. Sometimes it feels like I am only living for distractions, my cat, and to help family members who need me. On our last anniversary together, she drew a cute picture of our first date. I put it in a Ziploc bag and still have it on my fridge. Story 74. I felt lost for years. Even though it was a very tough lesson to learn, it prepared me for my current relationship. I really thought my ex was the best I could ever get because I could not imagine someone like my current partner. She has truly exceeded my wildest dreams. Now I thank my past relationship and my mistakes because they made me ready for the love of my life. Give yourself time to mourn. Took me 5 years. Most importantly, learn and grow. Your future self will thank you. Story 75. I hope I do not have the misfortune of meeting any of these people. Story 76. It's difficult since I have narcissistic tendencies that I now have to deal with on my own. I'm glad I'm no longer making anyone miserable. Story 77. I got lucky. I have been with her for 20 years. I have messed up completely more than once, and she took me back each time. I could not be happier. We still have typical issues, but it is great overall. I do not know what life would look like without her, and I feel more in love with her now than I ever have been. The past lingers, but we work through it. Story 78. I lost the love of my life when I was young and dumb. 40 years later, I still miss her. I have had to move on, but she is forever in my heart. Story 79. I lost an amazing woman who I believe was the love of my life, mostly because of my indifference and failure to prioritize our relationship. She was absolutely right to end the relationship. I miss her and think about her every day. We exchange pleasantries from time to time via text messages, wishing each other happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and so on. I feel much lonelier than I ever did before I met her. Story 80. My life was hell for about 4 years after my ex-fiancée left me, but now it is the best it has ever been. I am not as happy as I was with her, but I am getting there, and I still miss her sometimes. I appreciate the time I spent with her. She showed me I could feel loved and happy, things I believed I could never feel before I met her. I had daily suicidal thoughts for about 10 years before I met her. Those thoughts did not return, even immediately after she left me. Story 81. Messed it up in 1983, tried to get it back in 1989 and 1997, and finally got my act together in 2010. I reached out to her and we were married 2 years later. We bought our first house together last year, and today we went on a country drive in the woods. We both agree that the last 13 years of our lives have been the happiest. What a douche I was. Story 82. My life is good. I am remarried to a wonderful wife, and we have children. My ex has had a spectacular career, which opened travel opportunities and significant personal growth. She appears to be married to a caring partner, and I am very happy for her. I was not at the maturity level she deserved at the time, and I am sorry for everything I did that disappointed her. She deserves the good things she has earned, and I am glad for her. Story 83. I messed up badly 6 years ago, but I did a lot of therapy and managed to repair the damage. We are doing really well now. It took considerable conscious effort, sincere change, and humility, but it has been worth it. Story 84. After her, I told myself that I obviously do not have what it takes to date, and I have not attempted to do so since. Story 85. I tried my best, but I was a piece of shit in the end. I do not blame her for anything, but I do miss her a lot. I doubt there is another woman like her out there. Story 86. I learned from the experience and made a note of the qualities I admired. Honesty, modesty, compassion. I dated more people, and when someone next showed those qualities, I married her. 30 years and counting. You do not miss the whole person. You miss some of their qualities. There are others who have those qualities. Story 87. All good. She's happily married. I dated many women afterward, and none of them measured up because, on some level, I was trying to make them all into her. There is not just one person out there for you. Keep an open mind and remember you messed up for a reason. It wasn't right somehow. Keep moving and do your best to get to know whoever you date next for who they are. Story 88. I did not mess up per se, but I ended a relationship with a wonderful woman I should have settled down with because I was young and naive during that phase of my life. She was kind, funny, and loved me, and we would have been happy. Story 89. I'm getting married to the woman of my dreams this year. I still think about my ex, but only in the sense that I wish I had not hurt them so much. I used the pain to grow as a person and become better. Story 90. I feel terrible. I am going to email her again to say Happy New Year. I miss her a lot, to be honest, after 3 years. Story 91. I can't really enter a relationship anymore because everything would be a downgrade compared to her, and I fucked it up. Story 92. She was perfect for me, but long distance wore on me, and I ended the relationship because I had low self-esteem. We had been together for 2 years. I thought I had fallen out of love, but I was just in my own head and did not try to make us happy, caught in a bad routine. Life is getting better as I work on myself. I miss the small things she did, like making little crafts and simply being there without needing much to be content. I did not have the patience then, and now I am alone. I am grateful that I can love and be loved and that I have learned from my mistake. Life goes on and I have hope. I hope she is happy and knows I am trying hard. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.